Hello, everyone. I am Bogdan. I am your guest for the podcast. I am here today with Ioana. Thank you very much, Ioana, for accepting our invite. And without further ado, please, Ioana, introduce yourself.
Good morning. I am Ioana from Allevo, and we are a software company based in Bucharest, Romania, that does software that enables banks to connect to external market infrastructures and process payments and payment transactions and automate the business and operational flows of banks.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
I'm trying to keep it short.
Yeah. That's very interesting. So, can you please tell us? This is a good opener question, I would say. Can you please tell us the story behind your business?
Well, we were founded back in 1998 by a group of people that were very eager to do something that makes a difference and to work on a project they would actually enjoy and to create something.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing was right because we started doing software and professional services at the time, and then we made an application that enabled banks to connect to the then launched electronic payment system in Romania. And that's when six of our biggest customers were onboarded on our solution. And then back in those days, we started by enabling the low payments and high value payments flows and bonds. So that's how we started to automate these payment flows in Romania, which was a great leap. It doesn't sound like much now, but we basically moved from huge bags of paper to something that's truly digital and automated and transparent and auditable and whatnot. So that's how we started. We connected the core banking systems of banks to the SWIFT network. Then after we became partners with SWIFT and we have a long-standing relationship with them, we actually are one of the only companies in, let's say, Eastern Europe, aside from that is partners with SWIFT. There are two other companies, one in Serbia and one in Kiev in Ukraine, and that's about it in the region. And small as we are, we are good at what we do, apparently, because we're still here after all this time.
Yeah, that's a long story, to be honest.
Well, yeah. And in time, we started adding compliance features that enable banks to comply to regulations issued by our local national bank, the National Bank of Romania, European regulations or other regulatory requirements that come to them from other bodies. And we allow them to also comply to standards, allowing them to communicate with their peers, with other banks, using the same language. This is very, very important in this industry. So we are, I would say we are very exceptionally good at this.
That's nice. Do you notice any trends in the IT sector right now?
Well, yes, and I would try and restrict this conversation looking at, well, using my hat, right, from an Allevo standpoint and looking at our customers and the markets that we're in. We see a trend of a high focus on instant payments now. We've got instant payments in local currency in Romania already for some time now. Quite recently, we made an announcement that Garanti BBVA Romania adopted the fintech instant solution provided by Allevo that enables the bank to process instant payments in local currency in RON using the service provided by Transfond, the local clearing house. But on top of this, there is a deadline regarding instant payments coming from the EU this time. And it's for instant payments in euros. And for this, we've got deadline that is now extended to January 2027, where that requires that banks would offer instant payments in euros, charging the same fees as usual payments, right? And having these payments cleared in maximum 10 seconds. It's not 10 seconds is not instant, it's nearly instant, but it's good enough for people. So this is a
Yeah.
big project, and I'm sure everybody would have liked to offer this service to customers already, but there are a lot of technical um, things here and there that have obviously prevented this to happen so far. So we have
Yeah.
high expectations for 2027 from our customers. Coming back to trends, we also see a high focus on compliance and security, especially now under the cloud of cyber threats that is targeting the banking industry in particular. And for this, we've got a series of regulations that comes to complement each other, I would say, to make sure that banks and the suppliers of banks um, come up with a minimum set of security gates, let's say, to create a safer infrastructure. And I'm referring this to the DORA regulation, the Operational Resilience Act, the AI Act, right? The NIS2 regulation, GDPR, all these come to complement each other and to say, look, this is how you need to treat sensitive data of your customers, personal data. This is how you need to treat IBANs or business data you've got within the bank. This is how you need to look at AI deployments you use internally. And this is how you need to regulate the relationship you have with your suppliers. And this is how you need to check that they do not become your weakest link. I think all these regulations are a lot of work that is you cannot see it from a customer end side, but it's very important because attacks happen more often than not, and we need to make sure that we all work together as an industry, both the suppliers and the banks, to provide a safe environment.
Yeah. So you only work with banks, right?
We work with banks, but also with corporate treasuries. I keep saying banks because the treasury departments of corporates we treat as a bank, if you would. I think the same level of what's a good word for this? They would need to have similar infrastructure as a bank in order to keep them safe, for attacks, in order to they're not required to comply as banks are, but it's good for a corporate to be able to communicate with the banks they work with in a standardized way and automate as much as possible of these flows and minimize any manual interventions they have on their systems. So that's why I normally refer to banks, because they face a higher level of regulation, and we take it from there down. We have a top-down approach.
Yeah, it makes sense. Right now, let's talk a little bit about marketing. So the first question I have here is, how do banks or your future clients found about Allevo?
Well, on the local market, it's quite easy for us because we already have a good reputation, and we already work with almost all the banks in Romania. Either they are clients of our solutions or only our professional services or Swift services packages. Abroad, it's a bit more tricky because we have had customers before in the Netherlands or in Moldova, for example. But abroad, we are a small, medium-sized company of 32 people with, let's say, a 2 million euro turnover. That is, would say, you could look at that as a medium company in Romania, but abroad, that's very, very tiny in comparison with our competition. And also, the big banks in Romania are small in comparison with medium-sized banks abroad. So because of this difference of scale, it's a lot more tricky for us to get new customers abroad and place ourselves a reliable supplier that can provide the service that they are looking for.
Doing anything related to marketing at the moment?
Well, we're doing, I would say, a bit more traditional type of marketing. We
Mm-hmm.
we have all sorts of media collaborations in, let's say, publications or conferences that focus on the banking industry. Most of our let's say marketing that we do outside Romania, we do in relationship with events organized by Swift. So we've participated at Cybos, which is a yearly conference organized by Swift. Each and every year it gathers something
Mm-hmm.
like 11,000 professionals from banks and vendors. And it's something highly niched and very good quality event. Having a lot of conference streams on cyber, on standards, on payments, on I don't know, even leadership and all that jazz. But you also got the exhibition space where you could meet with your peers and create partnerships and
Mm-hmm.
meet the banks, and it's a very, very good event. So we do things around that. We do interviews, podcasts such as this. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, of
And
course.
yeah, events. I would say events are a good strategy to keep the networking flowing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to
Mm-hmm. That's
showcase, right?
interesting. Yeah, that's nice. How do you find those events?
Well, I think they normally try to find us because now every event, every conference organizer try to get vendors to pay or banks to pay to speak, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
business model. Charge the vendors, charge the participants, charge the whatever
yeah,
is everybody else. But some events are good, so some events are worth participating at, and it's just I think the biggest benefit is the networking, and then you would have something in terms of marketing as well, something to show on your website or communications as well.
yeah, yeah. It makes sense. Right now, what are you responsible for in the business, and how do you currently spend your day?
That's if I were to sum it up, I would say my role is crisis management because I'm also part of the board, but I'm also responsible for the business development side of the company. But because we are not
Mm.
a huge company having all these departments, dedicated legal or sales or whatever department, you gotta deal with it yourself.
Yeah,
Um, Marketing, HR as well, and the relationship with the customers, which I find very, very important. The compliance bit, someone has to do it, and it's not fun, and it's very boring. It took for about a year this year just to manage DORAG agreements with our customers, um, changes to GDPR or to our approach there and our security policy and deployment. AI Act has taken ages and it's still going. The NIS2 regulation and all these things that need to be analyzed from a business perspective, see what the regulation asks that you do and what is fit for your business and how you best and more effectively deploy it, not to span the team with here's another policy and here's another set of
yeah,
rules
yeah,
of how you need to work.
yeah, yeah,
My approach there was always to try see what a team already does to check if there's anything that needs to be prevented or addressed and to try and formalize that and map it to the regulation. And that way it would, if you deploy a new policy, um, it would have a very small impact on the way that people work, and you could accommodate it very quickly internally. And other than
yeah.
that, ISO quality and security certifications, we need that. We've got the ISO 9001 and 27001 certification. I have the privilege of dealing with building the budget, financial monitoring,
Nice.
reporting. Um, that would say it's hands-on entrepreneurship.
You seem like you're doing a lot of work and a lot of different things.
Yeah, but you see, I'm
And
not the one doing the actual work because the work that customers
yeah,
pay for is the work that the team does. This is
yeah,
just entrepreneurship management. It's not, it's bureaucracy, let's say. And
hmm
ensuring that you have a setup in the company that enables the company to remain a solid player in the market that customers
hmm
trust. That is very, very important in
hmm
our niche,
yeah,
very niched industry.
yeah, it makes sense. The second question that was how are you currently spending your day was more focused on how do you manage to put your attention into everything to not distract you one thing from another.
That's difficult because I have a high tendency to fall into ADHD, ADHD practices
Yeah,
because of things like this, and
yeah,
well, because of staying online throughout the day. I um, I now have fun because I start my day taking the kid to kindergarten and back and doing all. You do a walk in the morning and don't have time with for anything else. You're doing a cup of coffee and then it's 9 a.m. and you had a very good start of the day. You're not sleepy. Um, I'm feeling fueled for the day. And I am able to start, let's say, at 9 and look at the list of priorities. Again, back to crisis management, right? Is there anything
yeah,
urgent I need to solve? And
yeah.
then the trick is, I think, to look deeper into the pipeline of things that need to do, and do not start by and not start with the things that are easiest to address and solve, and that will probably
hmm
solve themselves if you do not have provide an input, rather than but rather look at the things that are more important and more difficult to do. And well, this is what I set out to do. I'm not sure if I'm very
Yeah.
good at it, but at least the intention is there to try deal with things that are lower in the pipeline but have higher value.
hmm So you're suggesting us to start the day with a walk before
I think
coming
so.
into
I
work.
think if you have a dog, if you have a kid, and you have to do these things, whether it rains or snows or it's too warm, too cold,
Yeah.
you start with a fresh mind, and you're not glued into the phone or the screen every morning. You wake up. Maybe you don't have even time to drink your first coffee by 9 a.m. And that is fabulous, I find. I discovered this over the last couple of years and I really enjoy it. Because
That's nice.
before
So
I was driving to the office half asleep, right? I would get there and get a cup of coffee and say hi to a couple of faces, and then it would be 10 a.m. and I would start to be productive and wake up at the same time. Like this, I
yeah,
I feel that I have a morning that is not work and when I have time to think. I think it's a good
that's
life
very interesting.
balance, work balance to have there. So I think I would advise someone to at least get a dog because you have to walk the dog. So
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. So for the people that are watching, start your morning with the walk. I'll do this
ex
starting tomorrow because today is 10:30 right now, so it's too late.
It's too late, but
Okay.
you know what? It hasn't been that cold in the morning, so it would have been nice. It didn't rain that much in Bucharest. It was a bit gloomy, but it wasn't that bad
Yeah,
today either. So
yeah,
it's better
exactly.
than you would think looking out the window.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for the advice. Right now, returning to the business side of things, what are the most
Yeah.
important metrics for you right now?
The most important things, the the top of the list here is keeping our reputation. We've got a very good reputation, and uh, this is a lot when you try to sell something to someone. Already got a trust, so you know you're a trustworthy supplier. They know you are able to also provide the service after deploying the app, the solution. It's quite easy to do the technical, let's say, the technical bits and pieces and sell an app. But what our
Yeah.
customers buy is the technical bit and the services that follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's they need maintenance and support nonstop. And if something happens, you need to be liable and you need to solve the problem. And I think
Yeah.
this is something very difficult to achieve and very easy to lose. And it requires
Mm-hmm.
constant focus, I would say. Uh, so this is, I would say, this is top of the list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's super interesting. Now let's talk more about goals. Do you have any goals for the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, 6 months, that's fine, yeah, because I learned that long-term strategies are just there to tick a box and to do your homework, like practice, practice budgeting
Yeah.
for 5 years or whatever. I think shorter term strategies need to show a main direction and to be flexible enough to accommodate any changes that have not been foreseen.
Yeah.
And let's try and answer the question as well. By the end of this year, we want to make sure that we achieve the objectives that we set for 2025. I would say here the financial objectives look the always seem the most difficult to achieve because because of the regular actors, the regular culprits, the inflation, cost of service, tax, and all these things. And then we try and build a budget for next year that will allow us to have a profit and to look at the also look at the project pipeline to ensure that
Mm-hmm.
we can deliver as our customers expect us to. I also have something that's a bit more vague, and it's, let's say, more than a 6 months timeline. We would like to, we would very much like to achieve new customer types, new customer segments, as they're called, and access new markets, new European markets, because the regulation in Romania is very similar to the one in the European Union, as we are
Yeah.
part of the EU, and it would be very easy for us to expand service there, also in terms of support for other time zones, because it's easy
Mm-hmm.
for us to
Mm-hmm.
cover Europe on using our current setup. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Okay.
the not too long term plan.
Yeah. So when you're saying that you want to expand, do you want to expand on the same niche, but maybe in other countries, or you want to approach different niches, or both of them?
I would keep our niche because we have people who are very deeply specialized in what they do, and we also always tried not to dilute our core business. So we want to keep our niche, and we want to help other types of customers operate more efficiently in their financial departments.
Mm-hmm. 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 So it's all related to financial.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Right now, what matters more than anything else for you?
Um, a family, top priority. From a
Yeah.
business perspective, I would say it's from a business perspective, the team. I think we are a people business and we care about our team. We have a fantastic team, and it's not easy to keep it happy, let's say, and to have it succeed all the time. So it's that's constant work, and it's the most important things. thing for us. We would not be able to provide the service we provide to our customer without our people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's say number two would be the relationship with our customers. As long as
Mm-hmm.
that you have an open communication channel, anything can be done.
Yeah. I believe the same. What
Yeah.
is currently your biggest challenge and why in the business?
Uh, the biggest challenge, accessing, let's say, new markets and new customers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say that's that. And also maybe I don't know, if I would have a magic wand and could get anything I want for the company, I would I would really appreciate a large infusion of capital in the company. Uh, that would give us a couple of things, motivate and grow our team, allow us to remain independent. I did not mention this at the beginning, maybe I should have, but we have been founded by private Romanian people in 1998, and we still have this set up now. We do not have any corporate shareholders. We are not part of a group. We have not sold the company, and that is something very tricky to do. And I fully understand why a lot of entrepreneurs start a company and sell it. And we really appreciate this independence we have. We are one of the very few companies that have kept this setup going. So this, and yeah, and this magic wand budget would also allow us to expand to other EU countries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the first person until now that predicted one of my questions with the magic wand. The next question would have been, so I had another follow-up question that would be,
Okay.
how have you tried to solve the issue that you've mentioned, which was the challenge, and what worked, what didn't? And the next one would be, if you had a magic wand that you could wave to solve one thing, what that one thing be? But you've already answered this
Yeah,
one
I
as
would say
well.
that. Um, and the other was
The other was
how I try to solve this issue. So we did
yeah, and how
try.
did it, what worked and what didn't?
Well, there were. I will mention two things. We tried and talk with, let's say, larger groups that were eager to invest in the company, but the terms and conditions were not really favorable in terms of having the certainty that this type of relationship would allow us to grow our team and our business and keep
Mm-hmm.
the niche of our business as it is and invest in our core business. We would not have wanted to dilute our expertise to do, I don't know, just an example, build websites or something that
Yeah,
any IT company can do, right?
yeah.
I mean, we have this expertise that was not gained with ease, and we want to keep it as is. And um, expanding to other countries, we did try this by a number of steps we've taken in the past, but we realized that without a serious level of financing, it's very difficult to do that. For example, something like 15 years ago, we moved from a closed source business model to an open source business model. And that means that we provide our customers, we deliver the solution, but we also give them the source code. That's very useful for them for auditing purposes or for just for as a safety net in case, I don't know, Allevo goes bust, God forbid. They have something
Yeah.
to work with. They do not have a black box. So it's an open source business model. And around this open source business model, we created an open source community, which had the goal of bringing professionals from the industry and have them work together to build something that is better, faster, more innovative, and to create this pool of professionals that would help grow this solution to something more spectacular and get ideas
Mm-hmm.
from other people. And but this because again this industry is so very niched, it proved like something very very difficult to do. That this open source community would have had to be a business in itself, and because we
Yeah.
had the business to manage, this proved like a challenge for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we gave it a go. I would not have say it failed, but we did not see it succeed as expected either. It didn't happen only to us. If you look at communities launched by the big players, right? They didn't go work too well. I mean, the Microsofts and Red Hats out there, the people who the community members who publish updates and all that and solve things usually are its corporate members or the originators of these open source um, applications. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Right now, here it comes my last question.
last
And it's an
question.
ending question. So, if you could leave a message to the people that are watching right now, maybe they want to start a business, or maybe they just want to, maybe they just want some life advice. What would you tell them?
Mm. If they want to start a business, I really wish them good luck to do therapy. No
Yeah.
joking, but I mean, if I were now to start something from scratch, knowing what I know now, it's it's not motivating at all from a bureaucracy perspective and everything else. Even though the bureaucracy is becoming a bit more digital, what we have is digitalized bad processes. There were poor processes before in the relationship with the state. The difference now is that they are not 100% on paper. And yeah, well, I don't want to complain about that. Um, but for someone starting a business, I would say it's very important to define who you are in terms of of a business and where you want to keep your identity. As I said, for us, it was very, very motivation. It was very tempting to start diluting the things we do because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we are a software company, and the types of solutions that we build in-house are not easy to do. It would be much easier to develop anything else, apps or I don't know what. But we stayed faithful to our mission, let's say. So I would say, yeah, that's the mission. It's fancy to talk about the mission, but you gotta know when you build the business, what is it about, and be faithful to that. Of course, you can change it every here and there, but it needs to evolve, not do an overnight shift. You produce
Mm-hmm.
socks these
Yeah.
days, and then after you do, I don't know, you have AI robots that mop the floors, or there has to be a link there. Um,
Yeah.
Look at the risks and work on your reputation. I think that's something that is a bit it's not valued. It's not in the focus of every entrepreneur. And the way I see it, and the way I see that service get delivered with a so and so quality, I think we should work on delivering excellence when
Yeah.
building a business. You should at least try to provide excellent quality. And
Yeah.
that would be a game changer. That would be a game changer.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Ioana, for this super interesting advice, and thank you again for joining the podcast.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. It was
this was
fun.
this is the Sure. This is the end of the podcast, and thank you to the people that are watching right now for watching the podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.